What's up, hockey fans, and welcome to episode number 59 of Marty's Illegal Stick, recording here on January 12th of 2022. I'm your host, Scott Kinville, and as you can see, we're a little short-handed tonight. However, I have brought the reinforcements in to help me out. First of all, sitting next to me, I have recruited my daughter, Maddy Kinville, to come in and help me do this show with us tonight. Maddy, who's your favorite hockey team?
Utica Comets.
Really? I can't imagine. And who is your favorite player?
Number 20, Fabian Zetterlund.
Really? And why do you like Fabian Zetterlund so much?
Well, first of all, he plays actually amazing. Like, he got drafted up to the New Jersey Devils, and also, he's just super duper nice to his fans.
Yeah, he is too, isn't he?
Yes.
You know, he's always smiling at everybody. You know, the guy just looks like he's really happy to be there.
Yeah.
I heard somebody has a souvenir from that named person. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have at least 2 pucks, and I have like a miniature stick signed by him. And then the whole team signed this, let's see, but it's got all of the players and their autograph. And I actually have one of his sticks coming in the mail.
Wow.
Coming.
That's awesome.
You didn't know that, did you, Scott?
Well, I do now. And you know what? I might as well just bring him in. You know, that other voice that you're hearing, so you're listening, or if you can see him, you can obviously see him. But you know what? I tell you, we have missed this guy for so long. He's been such an integral part of the show, and it just feels like the show is complete again.
Well, not quite. We're not in the studio, but you know.
Well, yeah, but you know what? We're close enough.
Yeah.
You know what? After a long-awaited wait, that's all I can say. He's back. Even if he can't stay for the whole show, he's back. It's the one. It's the only. It's Dave the Save Warder. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing much better. Much better. It's been a long haul. You know, been almost in the hospital 2 months. And now kind of recovery, rehab, stuff like that. And, you know, you saw me just before we went live. I actually was able to stand up and walk to a door here without the cane. So kind of graduated, you know, bedridden, wheelchair, walker, cane now. So made good progress. And tomorrow will be a month that I've been home from the hospital. Yeah. So really, really moving quickly. So, and they say I look more chiseled these days, you know, that I lost 30 pounds. And do I look more chiseled on camera, or has it put that 30 pounds back?
You do look chiseled. I got to tell you, I mean, you look like you're ready to just put the skates on and hit the ice.
I tell you what, my wife said that to me today about, you know, you'll be able to be ready to play beer hockey any day.
That's right.
No, I said, I don't think so.
Listen, I can't play Saturday night because I have to work. So if you want to take my gear, you're more than welcome to.
I'll be right there. I'm not outside yet, but you know.
Man.
Since those guys were late, you know, I could come on and provide some comedic relief.
Absolutely.
And show how much lack of knowledge of the game of hockey that I actually have, which would be funny enough.
Absolutely. Well, you know what, though? You still got one heck of a wrist shot.
Yes, it's true. You know what? And I don't have that queued up because you're in control.
I know, right?
But I can search for it real quick.
Oh, I'm sure you can. And I'm sure if anybody could figure out a way to get into the broadcast, it would be you. So,
yeah.
Make no mistake about that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, you know, just so everybody knows, I mean, it was really harrowing what you went through. And how long were you in the hospital for?
Almost 6 weeks.
That's what I thought. I mean,
so, yeah, it started out with I got COVID at the end of October, which was probably the Delta variant because Omicron wasn't around by then.
Sure.
But then I had actually had pneumonia in March, and that stuff was still lingering, and COVID just either I caught pneumonia again, or because they're calling it COVID pneumonia.
Right.
I was coming out of COVID, so I was doing okay, but then the pneumonia hit me. And that's what caused me to go in. And then, you know, I was on a ventilator and everything, and they were, you know, 3 times during this ordeal, I told my wife I had 2 hours or so to live. And so for her, me, I don't remember most of it because I was either, unconscious or drugged up so much, which since you visited me, you kind of know that
Yeah, well,
alternate Dave came out there on some of those drugs.
yeah, that
Yeah, and
was entertaining, actually.
yeah, my wife was telling me some of the stuff that I said to her and to you,
Yeah.
which I don't remember, although I remembered pieces of it, and it was kind of funny. So I was like, I said that, and then she told me, how many times did you visit me?
Me? Oh God, I was down there like 3 or 4 times.
You know what? No, I don't remember you being there.
Well, that's you know what though? You know what it reminds me of? I mean, what you're talking like alternate Dave and all that. It was almost like you went out on a good bender. That's all.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, some pieces of it were not good, but
No.
anyway, I kind of wrote about it because there were so many people that were, praying for my recovery. I mean, literally thousands, because everybody today has extended families, and so you have a family group in Maryland, or you have one in
Sure.
New York, you have one in Texas, you have one in Mississippi, whatever, and they all went to their churches and asked them to pray,
Right.
and it was just it was this incredible number of people, the number of cards I got, the number of calls that my wife got. It was just this massive outpouring of people praying. And I wrote about it on my Little Falls. I've got an editorial there called Power of Prayer. And I really believe it had an impact on the fact that I'm here today because I wasn't supposed to be. And after that third incident where they had told her, hey, he's not going to make it, there was just like a Hail Mary that was thrown with a steroid that they gave me. And instead of coming home to die, which is what they were going to do, they were going to send me home to die. It switched literally within 48 hours to coming home to recover, to do physical therapy. And I mean, so even mentally, as you're going through that, it's like, okay, it was just, it's all still when I talk about it, it's very surreal because there's so little of it I actually remember. And so I have to get my wife to kind of fill in chronologically
Sure.
what happened. And even you, because, you visited me and, you're an EMT and you're more medically aware of what was happening than I was.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, it was scary. It was scary seeing you in the condition that you were. But I tell you, you have made a tremendous recovery. And
Yeah.
you every time I see you and talk to you now, you look and you sound better, my friend. And it's just great to have you back.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to come on again until I felt like I could sit here and like sound normal, kind of thing. Still part of my voice doesn't sound the same because so many tubes down there, your throat gets raw and stuff like that. But in my
Right.
head, I don't sound the same, but everybody says I sound the same. So yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what though, it's weird though. I mean, you've been in audio business and print business and all that for God knows how many years. And everybody always says,
say how many years,
yeah. And everybody always says that you never realize that your voice sounds completely different to yourself than it does on the air.
Yeah, it does. And I used to do podcasting way back. And I would listen to the podcast and I was like, God, I hate, I never felt like I had a radio voice, because I would listen to my own things. I'd go like, oh my God, I sound horrible. I hate my voice.
Right.
But, if you have other talents like the technical side of things, or you have a knack for interviewing people or asking the right questions or things like that, I think you're not having that radio voice, that booming TK 102 home of the nation. That's rock and roll. Having one of those voices isn't all that important, which is the voice I used when I was on radio.
Sure. Yeah, you were the Casey Kasem nobody knew.
I can't do that now. And that was an actual station on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. I'll tell you, Barry Shelley says, Dave, it's great to see you. You remember Barry from the Rink of Dreams?
Oh yeah, I follow Barry's Facebook page and see that all he puts up there. So he's a busy guy.
Oh, he is too. I tell you, he's doing some great things down there too. He's got the New Jersey Warriors coming up from
I
New
saw that
Jersey next year to play.
the whole group coming up.
Yeah, to play in the next year's, I believe it is his Winter Classic.
Oh, I was thinking it was
They have
this
it
year. Yeah.
in February. So that's Mark Puttenvik, who's the former strength and conditioning coach, I believe, for the New York Rangers and New Jersey Devils, is in charge of that, and that's really something what he's done. So
Yeah.
I tell you, that's wonderful thing you've done here, Barry. And he says, I so wish I knew you were down here in Cooperstown. Well, I'm sure Dave couldn't wait to get out of the condition he was in Cooperstown.
If I don't see Cooperstown ever again, I'll be fine with that.
Yeah.
Nothing against Bassett, but right. Although they're already saying, hey, you need to come down for a pulmonology, visit. I'm like, no, not anytime soon.
Right.
I said, call me next month. And they were like, what?
Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, hey, listen, if you want to stick around for a little while, forever.
Your boys show up here. I mean, they're kind of lame,
Yeah, Jeremy's running way late, and Dom's still working. Dom is I feel so bad for him because I mean, I don't know if you know it or not, but he's a mail carrier up in Utica.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and obviously with the holiday season, his schedule is out of control.
Yeah,
which obviously you understand because it's a very busy season. Well, they're still busy. And so this poor guy's working like a short day for him is 12 hours.
Well, I think there's a lot of returns and things like that. I think people, because of the pandemic, have gotten more in the habit of using Amazon Prime and things like that. So there's a lot of packages. I mean, even today there were two. My wife goes, "Oh, it's makeup. I can find it cheaper and a different kind that's better." And so I think a lot of people have gotten into that habit, unfortunately, because we want them to shop local if they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, but unfortunately, it means Dom's got to work longer. So,
right,
So, Dom, if you're listening, we're thinking about you. And
that's why he makes the big bucks, right?
Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about some hockey here.
Okay.
Right now, the Utica Comets are on AHL TV, and they're also on the radio on KROC. They're in Rochester tonight, and let's see, there's 30 seconds left to go in the first period, and they're down 4-2.
Oh,
Rochester it was an ugly start for the Comets. They were down 2-0 like within a few minutes.
Have they kind of hit a slump here, or are we looking at a little bit of
a
slump? Is it because of the call-ups or what?
There's a lot to do with it, Dave. I mean, they've been hit with a ton of call-ups. And they've had their own protocol issues, the COVID protocol. Right now, Alexander Holtz and Kevin Ball, who are big parts of the team, really, are in the protocol. I don't know if a lot of people know it or not, but Graham Clark, who was having one heck of a season for them, suffered a hand injury on New Year's Eve against the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. We watched it. It happened right in front of it. He took a puck to the hand. And he immediately just whipped his glove off and I said to my wife who was sitting right next to me, I go, "Oh, that is not good. Not good at all." As soon as somebody just whips their glove off like that, know that it's obviously a great deal of pain.
So was the back of the hand then?
I think he got him underneath the glove.
Okay, all right.
So he's going to be out for multiple weeks, unfortunately. And the thing is, listen, they've had that tremendous start. They're still well ahead in first place in the AHL North. They still actually have the best winning percentage in the league. But here's the thing too. People need to realize that every team goes through slumps. I mean, I don't care who you are. There are going to be stretches in the seasons where you lose games. It happens, right? I mean, this is a 72 game season that the Comets play. They weren't going to go 72-0. It wasn't about to happen. But statistically,
we wish for it, right?
What's that?
Even though we wish for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, we love it. It would be great.
Maddy's right there going, "Yeah, baby."
Yeah. Well, as long as Zetterlund scores all the goals, she'll be happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, the thing like with the Comets is, so it's ironic that they're playing Rochester tonight in Rochester on a Wednesday night, because January 12th, we're on a Wednesday night. Well, I wrote an article today on martysillegalstick.com. Cheap shameless plug, by the way.
Yeah, I read it.
It was the preview. And, it was almost a month to the day when the slide started, right? So it was December 8th. It was a Wednesday night in Rochester. and it was Nico Dawes getting hurt in the third period, right? Now, keep in mind, back then, they had both Nico Dawes and Akira Schmid, who were the top goaltending tandem in the AHL at that time. So Dawes goes down, gets hurt. The Comets lose the game in overtime. Schmid came in and finished the game for him. 2 days later, he gets called up to New Jersey because of all the problems they were having with their goaltending. He hasn't been back since because they're carrying 3 goaltenders. And I'll get into that in a little bit later with the mess that they've got right now. But anyways, the Comets end up bringing up Merrick Mittens from the ECHL Adirondack Thunder. He did all right for his first couple of games, and now I think maybe the game is kind of starting to catch up to him a little bit. Not to take anything away from Mittens. He's a great young goaltender. It's just these things take time. You have to develop, right? So right now it's kind of like a perfect storm for the Comets, right? Between the shuttle that's going on back and forth. They don't have Nolan Foote. He's up in New Jersey. Excuse me. They don't have AJ Greer. He's up in New Jersey. AJ Greer and Nolan Foote are the two, well, shall we say, bangers for him, right? They're the guys that are going to go in the corners. They're going to get physical. They're going to get mean, right? They don't have that right now. So ever since that game in December 8th in Rochester, they are 2-2-1, meaning they've got 2 wins, 2 losses, and of course they've got the overtime loss too. So with that said, it's not, I mean, it's 500 hockey, right? Yeah. We've gotten, the thing is we've gotten kind of spoiled here as Utica Comets fans in the regards we just expect them to win every game.
They came out of the gate so hot. And
right.
So they set those expectations. What is their COVID protocol on that? Are they on a 5-day if they test positive or what?
So apparently it's 5 days, and obviously you have to be asymptomatic to come out of it.
Yeah.
But, here's the thing that I think that gets to everybody about all of this. And it's not just sports, but it's life in general. Just the confusion about it alone, because nobody really knows what the protocol is for the AHL. Nobody really knows what the protocol is for the NHL. It's not like it's something that's spelled out on the website. Okay, hey, if a player goes into the COVID protocol, here's how many days, said player has to be in. And I mean, you don't even have to use names. I'm just saying, having generalized, yeah, okay, this is what it is. They can come out here if this criteria is met, whatever, you know? So I think that's why people are getting so frustrated with it because, let's face it, sports are, for a lot of people, they're escape from the reality that we deal with.
Yeah.
And
you're watching even, NFL playoffs and stuff. You're listening to them tick off the number of people that are in the COVID protocol. And you're like, man, I mean, who am I watching out here?
Yeah, exactly.
Calling up from the practice squads and, it's nuts.
Yeah. And that's just it. And, and that's the other thing too, like for minor league hockey fans, right? Yeah. So obviously the Comets are going to feed the New Jersey Devils. Well, now they got what they call those taxi squads back,
right?
Which are basically an extra set of players. There's criteria that they have to meet, but in its basic form, it's the extra set of players that the NHL team has available to them that travel with them and stay with them in the event something like this happens. But what it does is it depletes the lower teams. And so, obviously we talked about this last week too, like with the Comets. So if they get, picked by the Devils, their roster picked over, well, then the Comets are going to in turn pick over the Adirondack Thunder.
Right.
Roster, and it just keeps rolling from there, So, yeah, that's just it. So I don't know, I think at some point, I think this is going to really have to come to a head, and people are just going to have to look, we got to deal with this because there's, games are being postponed left and right. I think the Comets, in fact, are playing a little bit shorthanded tonight.
Yeah.
Because of all the injuries and the call-ups.
I think we're basically going to go to, if you're sick, you don't play, you don't go around people, and just forget defining what you're sick with. I mean, before, if we were sick with a flu or cold, we stayed away from people.
Yeah.
Right? So Omicron, you're sick, and people, they forget. People did die from the flu.
Sure.
And everything else. So, I feel like I can speak on that subject now.
And I think you got a little bit of expertise on it now, right?
Yeah, exactly. And now I can open my mouth for real. Not like I didn't before.
Yeah. Oh, man. But I'll tell you, getting back to the Comets, I mean, yeah, right now they're down 4-2 in the first intermission. I'll tell you, Dave, I wouldn't worry too much about them. Again, in my eyes, it is far from time to hit the panic button. Yeah, I think they got to get somebody else in there to help Mittens out a little bit because he's been playing every game and he might be getting a little bit tired. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right? Right now they got David Tomio backing him up, they've got signed to a professional tryout contract, which is basically exactly what it is. It's like a temporary tryout kind of deal. He hasn't played in like 2 years, and he hasn't played professionally. So he was with I think it was Sacred Heart University last year, and he didn't get much playing time there. And so, and the Comets have got another back-to-back coming up this weekend against their hated rival, the Syracuse Crunch.
Yeah. And you know what? But I think the team is well coached.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I think you can bring guys like that up. And he's clearly been skating in the off season, even though he might not have been professionally. And there's a good coaching staff there. I think they could work him in.
Yeah, absolutely. I do too. And I think that, it's just going to take a little bit of time. And I don't want to, it's not a good thing. But the fact of the matter is the Comets aren't the only ones that are getting hit with all this.
Yeah, everybody. So
everybody is.
Maybe it evens out a little bit.
I think so. I think so. And it's just like I said, it's just a matter of time. And you know what? They're going to get healthy again.
Yeah.
New Jersey's going to get healthy again. They're going to start sending their players back down because the taxi squads are supposed to end at the end of, the first weekend of February is when those are supposed to end. So those are going to end. They won't be able to keep the players up there. They're going to have to send some players back down, which in turn will only make the Comets better. And maybe Zetterlund will get some more goals because he'll have his teammates back. What do you think?
Yeah.
He's got it. I know it. It's in him. It's coming.
That's a hardcore fan. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my god.
I'm getting like stuff from my room so that I can hang all my stuff up and have a whole wall just for him.
Wow. Usually that's reserved for Barbie or something, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Not anymore. But
hardcore. You got a hockey guy up there.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think I brainwashed her pretty well.
Oh,
yeah, you did.
So we got a couple comments here I want to address. So Sean Murphy says the Comets are running with 16 guys tonight down to 15 with the game misconduct. Thank you, Sean. And you know what? He's right. I thought I saw something about that earlier, that they were going to be down some players. And you know what? That affects teams as well. When you have to run with a short roster. Obviously it means double shifting. It means, players are getting more ice time than they're used to. And over the course of a long season, because don't forget, Comets are Wednesday tonight, right? And then, like I just told you, they're Friday and Saturday. So that's 3 games in 4 nights.
Yeah. And not only that, it not only wears them down a little bit more, but it also opens them up to more injuries the more time they've got on the ice.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Absolutely. And Barry says, yeah, you can expect this in the minor leagues with all the players being called up and down. He's absolutely right. And Barry, I was just trying to read the comments here. So Barry says, Scott, how is the Gump? He hasn't been on in a while. I hope he's doing okay. Barry, the Gump is alive and well and doing just fine. Wednesday nights are shuffleboard nights for Gump. Gump loves shuffleboard. We've touched on this before. And he wants to get back into Dave's studio. So what's
Oh, geez.
It's funny you like this, Dave, because I've got this little setup here that I'm trying to figure out to get the 2 microphones set up,
right,
which I was going to debut tonight, but I couldn't figure it out. So I got Maddy sitting next to me in front of the computer microphone. So the epitome of professionalism here. Okay.
Yes, it is.
So
well, you have jerseys hanging in the back, so you're good.
That's right. So you know what? When we do get back into your studio, I got to bring those over.
That'll work.
I'll hang them right in the background.
We'll find a way to do it.
They're the perfect wall decor.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? I got to tell you, I got to thank my lovely wife, Christy, for letting me turn half the living room into a temporary podcast studio.
Yeah, there's that.
A real sport about it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Barry also says, never saw Dineen as angry as he was in the first. Thought he would break his fist on the glass as he punched after the team was called for the 5-minute major. You know what? That's probably a little frustration boiling over right there, of course. Because really everybody in the organization has got used to winning. And, let's face it, the Comets did have a pretty slow start. There was no doubt about it. And, sometimes you gotta shake things up a little bit. You gotta toss a garbage can or punch some plexiglass or something like that to get the team fired up. And if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I just hope his hand's okay.
Another injury.
Yeah, we don't need the coach out with an upper body injury.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, that's what really where it comes down to. I think again, like I said, long season. Fortunately, there hasn't been a lot of travel involved for him so far, but there's going to be they had those the three postponed games earlier in the season there when we were going through all that. So they got to make those up at the end of the season, most of them anyways. Or the Springfield game, which we were supposed to go to, that got postponed because we're gonna make a roadie, right?
I know.
No, it's February 9th, and that's during when school is on. So
Yeah, but maybe a snow day, right, Maddy?
Can only hope.
Barry also says congratulations to the San Jose Barracuda coach Roy Sommer for winning his 800th game in the AHL. Yes, indeed, that is one heck of an achievement to win 800 games. I tell you, that's tough to do. That is not easy whatsoever. Okay, so we've gone over the count. Like I said, there should be coming back. What was it? 14-8. So hey, listen, the Comets got some shots on goal. When I was going on the air, they had like two shots on goal. I was like, scored on one, but let's see. Barry says, Scott, did you enter the beer pong contest last week? Actually, no, Barry, I didn't because I couldn't go to the game. I had my beer league game in Clinton, which we call the Clinton League. We don't call it officially the beer league. So I was doing something to do with beer. It was just a league, not pong. The way we played, I kind of wish I'd gone to the Hartford Comets game instead, but that's all right. Moving right along. By the way, Dave, you ever play beer pong?
No.
No?
No.
Well, you know what?
I think that came about after my college years.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you. Let's when we've always talked about doing an on-location show.
Oh God, here we go.
So I've got it. We'll do a beer pong contest.
All right.
How's that?
Yes.
How's that?
Good.
Oh, let's see. Josh Giggs, Scott, curious what the MV with the Moose jersey is from. Those were actually given to me. They were at the auditorium. I'm sorry, the Adirondack Bank Center. And they were basically in a box that was going to get thrown away. So I believe those were I think they were part of the women's hockey team for MV or for Utica College. I'm sorry. So I don't know if they were the practice jerseys or what, but yeah, they were going to get thrown away. And a friend of mine said, well, here, they were going to toss them. So gave me one of each. And I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see, Barry, I bet the Gump has. I'm sure he's referring to the beer pong, which I'm quite certain that Gump has. Gump might have invented it.
He tells you it's shuffleboard, but it's not really.
Yeah. You know what? You know what would be so awesome? Put a GoPro on his head for his shuffleboard.
Oh, jeez.
Could you imagine that? How much fun that would be?
I could actually do that. I've got like a chest mount for it, so we could put one on his chest.
Yeah, there you go. You're right. Barry was right. They were Utica College. I think they were the women's teams, I believe. Correct, Barry? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, he will in a second. But yeah, so I do think that Gump might have at least had something to do with the invention of beer pong. We'll see. I'll have to ask him next time I see him.
Yeah, really.
Oh, what else is there? My friend Dave the Save. So I was telling you earlier about the New Jersey Devils. They've got quite the quagmire going on right now. So they were carrying 3 goaltenders. Most NHL teams carry 2. They were carrying 3. They had Mackenzie Blackwood, who's their normal starter. And then they had John Gillies, who they just traded for about a month or so ago. And then they had Akira Schmidt up there. So all of us Comets fans thought that Schmidt would be coming back down, but they kept him up there. And they wanted to go with the 3-goalie rotation. Well, anyways, it was announced today that both Schmidt and Blackwood were put in the NHL COVID protocol.
Oh.
Yeah. So
how different is that?
So it's basically the same thing. I think they all kind of, do the same guidelines for their COVID protocols. So they're going to be in there for at least 5 days, right? What it means is that New Jersey only has 1 goaltender right now.
Ooh.
And Coach Lindy Ruff has already said that Gillies will start against the Islanders tomorrow night, but they're going to have to find a backup. Now, the curious thing is there's a lot of fans up here in the Utica area are thinking, oh, that's it. Mittens is going to get called up. And what are we going to do? Because we're in the middle of 3 games and 4 nights. Well, for them to call Mittens up they would have to sign him to an NHL contract. Right now, Mittens is only on an AHL contract. So can New Jersey do that? Sure, they could. I mean, there's nothing that says that they couldn't. I don't know what the plan is, to be honest with you, but there are other free agent goaltenders out there that they could possibly try to snag. I don't know what they're going to do, to be perfectly honest with you. You can't just go in with one.
Yeah.
Because what happens if your goaltender gets hurt in the middle of the game? You're going to have to resort to, well, it's been done before, the Zamboni driver or whatever. You saw those stories. David Ayers was one of them, right?
Yep.
So it's going to be very curious to see what exactly it is they're going to be able to do or what can they do? I mean, that's, I don't know. I know a few guys up here who would probably take a drive down to New Jersey for a chance to get in there, but.
Yeah. You think Gump would be skating up right now or what?
Gump?
Yeah.
Like, you know what? If this was 10 years ago, Gump might try it. But it's the New Jersey Devils, so I doubt he would. You know how much of a diehard Rangers fan he is?
I know. But
there's no way. There's no way he goes
to the NHL. Yeah. Jeez.
Oh man. So yeah, I tell you, it's it is. It's a one just crazy situation, and I just hope that eventually everything just calms down and everything kind of comes back to the senses, because it really is creating a lot of problems. There is no doubt in my mind about that. You know, buddy, I think we can actually pretty much assume that Dom's not going to get out of work on time, and maybe Jeremy joins us. I'll give him a few more minutes because there's only a few more things I really wanted to talk about. So
let's press on. Heck with those boys.
Yeah.
They missed my return. The hell
I know.
You know, I mean, we could have talked about the little things that come up, and you know.
Well, you know what, Dave? Because it is the little things.
We'll run it without him.
Yeah, exactly.
Even I appeared for it.
I know.
That's true. You know, second stringers, we can pull our weight, right?
Hey, listen, I got the taxi squad.
Yeah, that's true. I got called up.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
The emergency recall.
Yeah, really. Don't come with goaltending. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know. Well, here to help my co-host, my compadre over here just pointed out that they're about to drop the puck to start the second period here for the Comets game. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Hopefully, the Comets can rebound and get some goals because we need them.
Yeah,
we really need them. Anyways, I don't know how much you've been paying attention to some of the news that's been coming out of the NHL lately, but Evander Kane has found himself into trouble again. The troubled left winger for the formerly San Jose Sharks had his contract terminated. That's going to turn into a gigantic legal battle because the players union has already filed a grievance over it. Because I mean, there's $24 million left on his contract. So of course you don't want to lose that kind of money.
Yep.
With that said, if the termination goes through, any NHL team can sign him, but he is also known to be quite the locker room problem. Long story short, there's a lot of people are saying he's not a good teammate. Barry says, yeah, it's a mess. There's no doubt it's a mess. And now just a couple hours before we went on, news was breaking that now there is an investigation into his something about his vaccination status when he went to go play in Canada. I guess long story short, he shouldn't have been there. And now it's turned into, another huge mess.
International mess, right?
Well, yeah, no doubt, right? Everybody's just losing their minds over it.
Yeah.
If I were an NHL team, I mean, don't get me wrong, Evander Kane is very talented. Very talented. And when he's on his game and when he's got his head in the game, the guy's an all-star. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's got a skill set. He's what they call a power forward. Right? He's just one of those guys. He can either score a goal or he can knock his opponent on their butt.
How old is he?
So I think he's 27 or 28.
He's old enough to know better.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's certainly no doubt about that. Barry said he broke the rules while he was playing for the Barracuda by traveling up to Canada, breaking the COVID protocol. That's what it was. It was when he was with the Barracuda. Okay, I couldn't, because I was reading different conflicting reports on it. And of course, you know how that is too. The internet has, for one story, there's 10 different versions of it.
Yeah, especially if you're reading Twitter for your news.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Ah,
We need more reliable sources.
man, all this time. Why
All
didn't
this-
you tell me?
Yeah.
Oh boy. But anyways, if I were an NHL team at this point, I don't care how close I was to winning the Stanley Cup or what my team needs were, I would stay right away from this situation. However, there were reports coming out that, and it was on Twitter once again, by the way, but
I thought.
that there was like a half dozen to 18 teams lined up to offer him a contract. And at this point, it's like, man, why do you want to bring that kind of distraction into your team? You know, I mean, because hockey is just like any other sport, right? You have your team that's obviously, very, supposed to be very tight, and the team chemistry and all that, and parts, what makes teams successful, how well they mesh together and how well they gel together.
It's not guys ripping their shirts off in the middle of a game and throwing them up into the stands.
Well, that happens occasionally. But oh boy. And that's the sad thing, that when you see these athletes that are just so talented, just botch chances like this. But I think it also goes to speak volumes that just how the will of these teams to win, to do anything to get over the top.
Yeah.
If you're considering bringing somebody like that in, I would venture to say to any team, at least give it this season to cool down and see if he can, straighten. I mean, he's been given second chance after second chance.
Yeah, but if you're in the hunt, I mean, you always think that, okay, we're different. Our chemistry, our team chemistry, our leaders, our whatever, we can maybe make a home for him. And I think that's probably what management and coaches are thinking. And they're like, if this gives me the extra spark, maybe it's worth some of that. If he gets out there in between and he's scoring goals and knocking people up against the glass, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. If you put it to him as a kind of, listen, you've got one chance and one chance only. The first time you even remotely step out of line, we're cutting you.
Well, they wouldn't do that. He'd have to do some kind of a major breach, like the COVID protocol. But
right,
I can see people in the stretch giving almost anybody a chance.
Yeah. I mean, and it seems to happen across the board in sports.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think, football, I don't know if Antonio Brown's gonna be able to sign with anybody in time for the playoffs to start.
Well, but see, he's got a lot of strikes.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady was kind of his last hope on that.
I know.
And kind of mentored it and shepherded him in, and
he turned on him.
And then he turned, but Brady didn't turn back. I mean, so that shows some class right there. Whether you love or hate Tom Brady, I happen to like it. That showed a lot of class.
Yeah, I was quite amazed that he was able to just kind of let it slide off his back. Yep. But as Barry says, because this is a very interesting point that I didn't point out earlier, that the Sharks had actually sent him down to their AHL affiliate, the San Jose Barracuda, who are the equivalent of the Utica Comets, for the Sharks, right? So to what they are to the Devils. And this all happened, like Barry said, he was playing for the Barracuda, and Coach Summers, who we had mentioned earlier, for winning his 800th AHL game, Barry says, as you know, I know Roy, who was his coach while playing in the minors. I've known Roy for over 40 years, and I know he gave him every chance, which that's true. That's very true. Barry makes a very good point there. I heard that on the radio this morning, too, that, they tried everything to try to, give him every chance to, toe the line, so to speak. And, it's just, I think it's just sad. I think it's sad. And it's not just hockey. It's any sport or anything in life where you see somebody that's got so much talent, just, throw it away. It's heartbreaking. It really is.
In a way, you don't know what internal demons they're fighting, but
that's the other thing.
It's like, man, guy's so talented,
Yeah, exactly.
No matter who it is.
Yeah, I know it. It is. It's awful. But so anyways, let's get on to a happier subject, shall we? The Boston Bruins have re-signed Tuukka Rask to a 1-year contract, bringing back the 34-year-old goaltender who's been a perennial all-star, but he missed most of the season I think he was kind of at a crossroads where he didn't know if he wanted to continue playing or if he did or didn't. Well, he has apparently decided that he does. And, he's going to come back to partner up with Linus Ullmark in the Boston net, which means pretty much that Jeremy Swayman is going to be heading back to Providence of the AHL. I think this is a good move by Boston. I think Boston fans are not going to want to hear me say this, but I think they're kind of on their last stand as far as what they're going to do going forward as far as being a playoff contender, because the team is just starting to get really old, to be honest with you. And if you're going to make one more run, and I don't know, maybe they've got 2 left, but I think that they're kind of right, that window's closing. And so if you're going to do that, you don't want to you don't want to do it on the backs of an unknown rookie goaltender or Ullmark, who is a good goaltender, but is he going to win the cup for you? I doubt it. Rask is a proven winner. There's no doubt about it. So good on Boston to do this. But again, like I said, I don't know just how much longer this Boston Bruins train is going to last. And I'm sure being a Sabres fan, you're happy to hear that.
And I think at the beginning of the season, you kind of predicted that. You thought maybe they had one more run when we were talking about that at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we I'd said the same thing about them in the Washington Capitals. I was wondering who was going to be the first ones to kind of start falling by the wayside.
And start having to rebuild from scratch. So, yeah.
Right, exactly. Of course, I said the same thing about the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they've won like 8 games in a row now. So,
they're on a comet streak.
Yeah, exactly.
Call them comet streaks.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, that's we'll see what happens. I mean, they still got to get into the playoffs too. They've got a ton of games in hand because they had a lot of games postponed. But they've still got to get in. I mean, there's just it's not like it was years ago, right? Where they were guaranteed to be in the top 3 of their division. Their division is very, very tough now. You got Toronto, you've got Florida, who's playing very good hockey. Tampa Bay is always a perennial contender. Those 3 alone right there, that's not there right now. Pretty much the locks to go out of that division in the playoff or for the divisional seeds. So Boston is, of course, looking at a wild card. But, the way it's shaken out, they got a better chance than a lot of teams do because of the games they got in hand. So we'll see. Even though I will say that, your Sabres, your Sabres are a team that no, I'm not kidding. I'm not busting your chops. I've told you this before. The Sabres are a team that interests me. Oh no! And speaking of which, the Rochester Americans just scored again. It's 5-2.
It's going to be dismal.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? I tell you, they got a lot of young talent, and it's on display right now in Rochester because they're rolling. So let's see what else do we got. We went over Dave. I think that's about all we got because I don't think Jeremy Ordam is going to make it in time.
Well, that's good. We hauled the water without him.
That's right. We were able to do it. I don't know. I might have to tell them that they might, that you guys better step your games up here.
Yeah, really. I mean, come on.
I'm rolling with 2 new hosts here.
Yeah, Maddy's going to be the perennial favorite from now on. So
yeah. Right.
Oh yeah.
You can't do the show without her anymore.
No, that's it. Now she's just got herself a permanent place in line.
She needs her own chair and microphone and camera. I mean,
she's got a chair. She just can't stay in it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Too short.
Too short.
Just one last thing before we go. I just want our hearts and prayers go out to the family of Teddy Belkin, who the high school player there who tragically lost his life. It was a collision on the ice. It was just it just went horribly wrong, and it's a shame. You hate to see that, and our hearts and prayers go out.
Yeah, that was just tragic. Isn't even the right word.
Oh, I know. That's not. You're right. That's not even close to being a strong enough word. But that's So like I said, our hearts and prayers go out. Let's see. Hey Scott, just got a suggestion for a future guest. This is from Josh Giggs, the voice of UC Bigsy, Ray Biggs. Yeah, absolutely. We got to get Ray on. We definitely got. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever listened to him on the Utica College Pioneers broadcast. He gets so amped up. It's awesome. It is awesome. So I'd love to get him on the show, especially when we get Dom going.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Back and forth.
Jeez.
You know, another future guest?
Who's
Rick-
that?
Fabian Zetterlund.
Oh, well, you know what?
Gotta talk to Coach. Gotta get him in here.
Well, I'll tell you what. Next time we're at the Adirondack Bank Center, you're down there with your signs. Why don't you put a sign right up against the glass? Marty's Illegal Stick. Come on. What do you think?
Yeah. We want to interview you, Marty's
Yeah.
Illegal Stick.
Can I get an interview?
Welcome back to Marty's Illegal Stick Podcast.
Oh God, training is going well.
Yes. See that? Absolutely. Oh, boy. All right, buddy. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. So I think, we're definitely going to have a guest next week. This week was just kind of a scheduling nightmare. It was, just a tough week to get everybody together. As you can see, we can even get our host scheduled. So it's, but Dave, I'll tell you, it was fantastic to have you back. It just, like I said, this is great.
Can't believe I lasted this long.
I know it, right?
Yeah.
It was the spirit that got you. It was the spirit of the show.
I'll go pass out in the bed now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. See, hey, let me ask you something. What was tougher, physical therapy or doing this show?
Physical therapy.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's all right.
This was easy. This was like just falling back into a natural rut.
A rut. That's pretty much a good way to put it, too.
Well, you remember the last time I was on camera, I talked about Depends. So we're not even going to go there.
You know what? You're right. I almost forgot.
That was one of the last things I said. When I was looking at the shows to put them up and all, I was like, oh God, I was telling the future.
Well, we don't need any visual evidence, my friend.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm just going to say that stuff doesn't work. No.
Oh, man. Josh, another great show. Cheers. Go Pens tomorrow, Scott. Well, you know what, Josh? I appreciate the support and I appreciate you watching every week. But for tomorrow night, I got to disagree with you because, as you can see, I am an LA Kings fan and I really don't want to see the Pens win that game tomorrow night. Let's put it that way. Oh, buddy. Well, anyways, again, thanks, Dave. Great to have you back again. It really is. And so that's going to be all for this edition of Marty's Illegal Stick. Like I said, next week we will have a guest back. I promise you. But in the meantime, for the returning Dave the Save Warner, for the new inductee, Maddy Kimball, who we got to come up with a nickname for, I'm Scott Kimball. Thanks for watching and listening. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next week on Marty's Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast.